Well, fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to welcome today Geoff Hatheway. He's the founder and president of Ski Magic. Magic Mountain reopened under new ownership in 2017. It's a special place for many to enjoy, a really laid-back community. It's one of Vermont's last independent ski resorts. Magic has been my own family's winter fun destination, and I'm really excited that Geoff agreed to come to talk to us today about the work he's doing to help preserve and improve Magic. So I'd like everyone to welcome Geoff. Thanks, Geoff.
Thanks, Regina. Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me? All right, good. No, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all. Regina had a nice opening. I think, you know, the reason we purchased Magic, and it was a group of myself and total about 15 other investors, a lot of them locals in the Londonderry area, but also some fellow Dartmouth alumni who are also big skiing fans, is that it is unique. Magic's got a long history. So 1960, Hans Thorner came out of Switzerland. He had been a ski instructor, and he had been he actually filmed the 1948 Olympics. He did a lot of, you know, first-time ski areas over in New Hampshire originally. He was involved with those and decided that Vermont was going to be a place where he wanted to create his own ski area. And his whole idea was really to create a little bit of Switzerland right here in Vermont. So he selected, actually before, I mean, obviously Bromley was already in existence, but before Stratton was even yet fully developed and hadn't purchased their land, he purchased this property over here in Londonderry, and he just thought that Magic kind of represented the kind of changing and steep environments that mirrored Switzerland. So there are a lot of peaks, valleys, interesting things that follow a fall line that to him reminded him of Switzerland. So we're like a little mini Switzerland over here. And he was the first guy to create the whole village concept. And so everything around this area, from the houses that were then developed to the local inns, all had a Swiss feel. So, you know, he was one of the true innovators and a builder of kind of skiing in the Northeast, particularly in Vermont. It's interesting that locally here, Stratton had a kind of an Austrian heritage. I remember Emo and his Stratton Mountain Boys growing up and things of that sort. So there's a kind of a rich, interesting heritage right here in southern Vermont of, you know, the European influence on skiing. Magic's always been a great place for us to go skiing as a family. We also skied growing up, Stratton. We were coming up from one of those flatlanders coming up from Westchester County. But we had a place over in Jamaica, little old, you know, house up a hill in Jamaica. Didn't have, at that point, any electricity. Didn't have phone service. And this is in the 1960s to our house. And so we weathered a lot of cold winters and things of that sort, but really fell in love with skiing here in southern Vermont and all the variety of places that are here. And it's really a great heritage and something that Windham County, Brattleboro, et cetera, everyone has this really rich heritage in the ski business. And, you know, one of the reasons we purchased Magic was not only had my kids grown up skiing here and done the racing programs and the free ride programs and all that good stuff, but it was such a great community, even after, you know, the bad years when Magic was closed in the 90s. What developed out of that was a really tight-knit community focused on the sport of skiing. You know, it wasn't all the frills and the fancy stuff that the corporate ski industry had gotten into. It was really just a fun group of families and enthusiasts who really loved to get together and ski, and then kind of hang out at the bar afterwards and talk about their day. And it didn't matter, you could have come, could have been a local, you could have come from New Jersey. It didn't matter. No one cared what you did for a living. It was all about the sport and skiing, and we just fell in love with it. And obviously Magic is, for many years, has struggled against, some of the bigger players in the market. Obviously Vail's come into the market and has purchased Mount Snow and Okemo. Altera Group has come in and purchased Stratton and a few others. So there's Bromley and there's us kind of in this independent area. We wanted to keep it going. We just felt this was too great a resource out here for the local community and for skiers at large, kind of to lose this. There are too many areas that have been lost in the sport of skiing over the last really 30 years. I mean, the height was probably by the early 1980s, we probably had the most ski areas, over 400 in the United States. Now we're down to 200. And you remember all the little ski areas that dotted various towns around the area. And certainly Maple Valley, we used to ski by Maple Valley all the time, going up Route 30 to Jamaica. And obviously we lost Maple Valley, but there was Snow Valley. There's just so many in this area. So we didn't want to lose Magic. It's just too good a mountain, but it needed a lot of help. So when we purchased Magic, and it's actually November of 1916, so our first, we had to immediately open after we closed on the purchase. But there was a lot of infrastructure that needed, looking into. And, we had a plan. So we have basically spent, $4.5 million in that ballpark to improve lift infrastructure, snowmaking, and the lodge, all things that we needed to do, to, get out of a paradigm where Magic was always struggling to make snow, always struggling to open, waiting for just a powder day for it to be good. We needed a place that it wasn't just for experts, that had good beginner level skiing and accessibility to more skier types. So what we took was kind of a rough outline of a skier, which we loved, and just tried to smooth some of the edges so that more people could enjoy it, and to continue to make sure that Magic would be an affordable place to ski, not only for locals, but people who come from other parts. Because part of the ski industry as a whole, what the dynamic that's going on is, there's all these inexpensive, passes, that the Epics and the Icons and things of that sort, but the day tickets have gone dramatically higher. So it's hard for locals to go out to ski, and it's hard for people who are new to the sport to take up skiing. And that's not good for the business long term, and certainly something we wanted to look at. So we've had a great time trying to smooth out those edges. It has cost some money, but we spend a lot less than, quite frankly, a lot of other ski areas do on, kind of redoing infrastructure, because what we're after is a different experience. The key things we needed to work on at Magic was get more snow made. So we've been working on newer, higher, energy efficient guns across the mountain. We're expanding the pond. So we've got Act 250 approvals on a pond expansion. We've brought back being able to replenish the pond with more water from Thompsonburg Brook, which comes out of Lowell Lake in that area. So all of that has been approved by the state. We've done also, part of making it more accessible is not only making more snowmaking and grooming, but to have lifts that get people to certain areas where they can ski. When we took over Magic, basically there was 1.5 lifts almost. One lift to the top and another lift that went to the top and never worked. So we had some work to do. You go to the top of Magic, it's an experience, and you don't want a lot of beginners and new skiers coming down. So we also got Act 250 approval for a new quad new to us quad to go to the top, which will add capacity as well as reliability. And that project, the Black Line Quad, is being finished as we speak this fall. But when I say new, it's an older lift. We bought it from Stratton. So Stratton wanted to put in a new high-speed lift. We took their old lift and have refurbished it. And it's a beautiful Poma quad, fixed grip quad. So it's very reliable. And it allows us to put more people on the mountain, but yet keep them evenly spaced. The problem with high-speed lifts, it gets a lot of people up there quickly. They're all coming down at the same time. It crowds the slopes. We want an experience that open things up a lot more to people who don't want to be run over by another skier or a snowboarder or whatever. So there's more space on the trails. We added a new beginner area with a carpet lift. Now this year, we're moving another handle toe to expand that beginner area. So again, more family-oriented skiing. We also added a mid-mountain lift. So another double fixed grip up to the mid-mountain so that people had easier trails to ski on the way down. So it's really about, for us, creating this, what is just a great natural ski area and putting some refinements on it that make it more accessible to more people. And while we've put all this money in, what we haven't done and put more people into the place, what we haven't done is really change that feel that we like to have, where it's very friendly, very relaxed. The vibe is low key. Everyone is welcome at our place. And it's not about a fashion show. It's not about what car you drove to get here. It's really about the sport of skiing and riding. So as we like to say, you know, the place has soul here, and we didn't want to mess with the soul. We just wanted to have it more people to find not only its soul, but their soul when they come here. So it's been a rewarding project. It's certainly a tough one. The ski business is not easy. There's something called weather. And weather can change all your plans on any given day as to what's going on, but that's why we put more money into snowmaking, so we have a more consistent product. And we're trying to obviously drive more people to our county here, Windham County, to not only ski, but to go out to restaurants, to stay at hotels, motels, to buy real estate, things of that sort. So we look at what we're doing here as part of helping revitalize Londonderry, and the surrounding community in Windham County. So we're just really happy with the progress we've made this will be our 5th season. We've already tripled the amount of pass holders we have here, which is unheard of, in this business. And a lot of them are Vermonters, which is really important to us. We have special local passes for Vermonters. Especially if you have kids in school locally, there are huge discounts on passes for local kids and their parents, as well as teachers. So we know how important school is, but we also know that, winter can be it can be a long, it's especially long in Vermont. And if you don't have some outdoor activities and things to do, it can be a lot longer. So we want to make sure kids have the opportunity to grow up skiing. It's in their backyard. And so we're doing more outreach to our locals to get people to be able to ski here affordably. And we're really excited about everything we've done. This year, we're also, for the first time for the kids, we're putting a new expanded terrain park, and it'll be lighted. So we have a lighted terrain park. So we're going to be the only place in Southern Vermont that has any night skiing, but it's all terrain park. So it's really more, for those of us who are under 25, which is not me. But so this year is going to be a challenge. We're dealing with obviously COVID-19. We've got a lot of things in place from a safety standpoint. We already limit the amount of people that can ski at our place at any given time. We've done that since we bought it. One of the things we wanted to do was to keep the experience that we want of an uncrowded resort going. And even though we improved this stuff and we're getting more season pass holders, we limit the amount of day tickets we sell here. So we're never overcrowded. We want to keep lines to a minimum. And so the state certainly is going to have their regulations in terms of indoors and things of that sort. That's going to be very restricted. We'll have reservations for those type of things. But outdoors, we already limit the amount of people that are going to be there. We'll probably lower that number a little bit from what we usually do. We usually sell a maximum of 1,500 tickets a day. We'll probably end up somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 tickets to lower that, just to make sure everyone's comfortable and spread out. But COVID-19 certainly represents a challenge for all the ski areas in Vermont. But we've got the protocols in place, we think, to make a go of it. We push more dining and food options outside. Everyone's going to have to bundle up, but there are going to be more things where people can space themselves outside, get food, use their cars, other things that we'll do. But we're going to keep, we're going to keep Magic, as safe as possible. And we're pretty proud of what we've done this summer to do similar things with our outdoor dining, our disc golf, and we're already doing fall foliage rides. We had a big weekend last weekend that was great, up to Sunshine Corner on the green chair. We'll do that again this Saturday and the next, Indigenous Peoples Day on Columbus Day / weekend. So a lot of work is going into this place. We've got a great employee base. They're all locals, and that's going to represent some challenge for some of the bigger places because there's not going to be a lot of foreign workers coming in. We never use foreign workers. We've never had to because we always have employed locally. But we go from a workforce of about 15 full-time during the summer up to about 100 during the winter. So we're busy hiring right now. We've got a lot of employees who come back every year though for seasonal work. So a lot of great stuff going on. I really appreciate, the opportunity to highlight a few things. But if anyone has any questions, I would certainly be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Geoff. Do we have questions out there?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Tom here. Thanks a lot for your presentation. I remember skiing at Magic in 71 and 72, I think it was. It was a lot of fun. Something you mentioned about the day passes being very high, but the season passes being low. I do some research and it triggered something in my mind. Is there a business model shifting where the skiing is not what they're selling to make the most money, that there are other things going on at these big industries that are trying, and therefore they're doing these season passes? And is there some weird economics going on? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, Tom, it is true. I think there's a lot more money. So when Vail and Alterra, have these destination resorts, they're trying to get people to fly in from the east, right, to the west to go to a lot of their destination resorts. So they purchase resorts out here to feed, via season passes to feed business out west. Very little Western business comes east, right? Most of the ski business heads out the other way. So, and so they're doing that. So they offer these really great deals on season passes so that the people have a pass to Okemo or Stowe or Stratton or Mount Snow, et cetera, have the opportunity to go out west and not pay for, day tickets. They can use their pass. Well, so how does that work? And from a financial standpoint, well, they're staying at their hotels for the most part, or they're staying at their, their condos and things of that sort. They're eating at their restaurants. They're shopping in their stores in their areas. So these are bigger resorts, and they have, all of these different platforms out there that they can, get additional money from these visitors. So really you're correct. The model is changing from, just purely selling day tickets as we do. We love day tickets and we love day ticket travelers and things of that sort. And that's why we keep our prices, let's say an average price at most of these major resorts is, up to 125, 130 bucks, so we're at, 74. So we're almost half that. So that dynamic is currently happening, and we're seeing more visits head out west to Utah and Colorado from the east because of that. This year will be different because I think a lot of people are not going to want to get on planes. They're not going to want to go to airports. They're not going to do all that with COVID. But that's the long-term play for the bigger corporate resorts, and it works. And they've been very profitable in doing it this way. We're not interested in that. We're interested in Magic. We're interested in our little ski area, our independent ski area. And so while we get, let's say, about 30% of our revenue from food and beverage, it's all food and beverage right here at the ski area. They're not going anywhere else. It's just people relaxing after a day of skiing, coming for a concert maybe on a Saturday night with music and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of people who love to do that. So, but we make money on skiing, and we've been profitable, the last 3 years out of 4. So we had our first year where we had to, spend a lot of money on operating different infrastructure and start to grow the business, but we've been making money for 3 years. So it can be done. We are doing it, and we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you, Geoff.
Geoff, quick question. How many skier days do you generally sell in a year, whether it's passes or days or whatever?
Yeah, hi Phil. We do about 40,000 skier days, skier visits at Magic, which again is probably up double from when we purchased it. So it's still a relatively small amount, and we're fine with that. We don't want to really get much more than, if we're doing, 50,000 skier visits in a year, then we'd be pushing, how many people we can squeeze in here. So again, that's why we use our max day ticket capacity level to kind of keep that experience that we want more important than just making, $20,000 more in a given day, which we could do. But the experience here is really the important thing, and we think that'll bring people back and staying with us and being consistent visitors, rather than trying to, on the huge weekends, to try and stuff every living person who could possibly fit in here into the place and just create an experience that we don't feel comfortable with. So we're going to be fine with maybe not making as much money as we could, as long as we're profitable.
So President Carl, knowing that you don't like to ski at all, maybe somehow we can plan a Rotary ski day up there sometime. Wouldn't that be fun during the week?
Roadshow sounds like a good plan to me, Phil. I like how you think.
I like that.
And in line with that, Geoff, what's the Magic's rules and process on the newer trend of uphill travel?
Yeah, so uphill travel, it's really not a new trend for Magic. So it's a new trend for other areas, and obviously more people are getting into it, which is great. And I think it kind of dates back to when Magic was closed in 92 to 97. The only way you can access, this great terrain out here out my window was to climb it. So, the place always had this kind of underground, hike it, go get it, because it's there. You can still see people going to Snow Valley, which is still close, and skiing over there in the woods and things of that sort. So our policy has always been one of, we encourage it. you know, it's a
Mom?
resource that we have. And
Why
we
can't
let
I see
people
myself here?
basically skin up this, we basically let people skin up this place anytime they want to, you know, within certain limits. So the only time they're not allowed to get out and ski here going uphill is if we have we just got dumped on and we have a foot of fresh snow. We allow, we tell our uphillers, you got to wait until the lifts spin to go uphill, because we want paying customers to have the same opportunity to get after the fresh powder as uphill customers who are not paying anything. So we don't charge for uphillers. They have to get a ticket so that we're covered from a liability standpoint when we're open, but we don't ask them to pay a thing. And for the most part, they reciprocate by coming into the lodge and buying a beer and things of that sort. And the other thing we do on a normal ski year is if they skin up to the top, we give them a token for one free lift ride as well. So we encourage it. We think it's a great way to experience the sport. But we don't want to obviously charge people money for it if at all possible.
President Carl, Joseph has a question.
Joe Cook, the uphill original.
Who has? You have to unmute, Joe. Joe, you
There
have
you
to
go.
unmute.
Yeah, you can hear me now, right?
Hey, Jeff.
Okay. Jeff, I want to congratulate you on an excellent presentation and make one minor correction. I was out in Summit County as things were closing down this spring, and lift tickets at places like Vail and Keystone and Beaver Creek are now, I believe, $220 a day.
Yeah, on average, I was saying here, kind of in the east, but you're right. Out west, it's gotten crazy. And even Stowe has got up to, I think, 180. You know, on holiday weeks and things of that sort. So yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. But again, that's part of their strategy. If a ticket is $200, then spending $800 on a season pass, if you're going to come out there for a week, makes a lot of sense. So they get a ton of people buying passes and they commit to going to their resorts. So good business plan. Bad
Thanks.
for growing the business though. Yeah.
Jeff, what is a season's pass for Magic?
For Vermonter? Or
Yes.
for, okay, so we've got a couple different, if you're, so for anyone to buy a season pass right now, it's $679. For an adult, it's $399 for anyone 70 and over and a kid 18 and under. Now for Vermonters, it's for any Vermonter, it's $399 as comparison. But if you're a parent with a child in school and your financial burden is more because of that, right now we're selling a pass for $269 for the parent and $149 for the kid. If you had bought that in our spring sales period, which ended in June, it would be $99 for a kid and $199 for the adult.
Wow.
So I don't think anyone's doing that.
That's superb. Have you ever visited our little Memorial Park T-Bar?
I haven't, no.
We have a great starter
Heard good
little
things about it.
T-Bar that's been here since the 50s, and our club has helped that. It's the town owns the area, but the ski lift, which is a T-Bar, is all volunteer and a separate organization. And next time you're in your Brattleboro, take exit 2, take west on 9, and you'll see a covered bridge.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Half a mile right on the left. And as you turn left there, that park is there, and you'll see the lift without the tees because they take the tees off. But we have T-Bar, a tiny terrain park, and we actually have a groomer, and it's all staffed volunteer process. So it's something right up your alley as far as getting beginners to get going.
Yeah, I mean, that really is important. And, you know, we lost so many of those little ski areas in towns, over the years that really don't exist. And that aspect of it, having something right there in town that they can go to and learn to ski and learn to love the sport is really cool. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. I know there's Scutney on what they've done over there, similar type of thing where they've added a T-bar, I believe, this year to, the town basically, bought it, bought the land and is doing the bike park. They've got that. And I think they had a roto, and I think they're adding a T-bar this year. So those little efforts really help the sport of skiing. So thank you all for doing that and supporting that.
And we have night skiing certain nights as well. So.
Okay. All right. So we're not the only one with night skiing.
Yep.
All
But
right.
we're it's okay. We're
Yeah,
we're different. We're a real starter course.
Yeah. Good.
And so do we have? We're getting towards the end of our time frame. Do we have other questions for Geoff? Rob?
Thanks, President Carl. Geoff, thank you so much for an awesome presentation. I'm really interested in your disc golf course. A few of my colleagues have enjoyed it, and I'm just curious to hear your more of your thoughts on how that's going. If you think it's going to be an important asset for Magic, and to know just what you think.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Rob. The disc golf course is kind of a labor of love. It's never going to be a real, it's not designed to really be a moneymaker. It's very inexpensive, obviously, to use. We really put in, and if you played it, I think it, a really interesting course. You definitely need your hiking boots. You'll get a lot of good exercise because it goes up and down the hills. And our director of operations, who's a phenomenal skier, when we first purchased the mountain and I brought him in, he wanted to put in a disc golf course. I said, what the hell is that? We really love having it. He designed it along with another guy, and it's gotten rave reviews. Again, it's something. What we want here is to have a mountain that is able to be accessible to more people, just for fairly cheap recreational purposes. It's a great way to get out in the summer, spring, fall, and get some exercise and enjoy some type of competitive activity. We don't look at it as on a bottom line basis. We just look at it as a way to people get out here. And if they come here and if the bar happens to be open at that time and they come in, that's great. But we like having the mountain here as a resource. That's why we support uphill skiing. Even if we're not closed, they can go up and ski it as well. And other things that we're looking at, we're trying to work with the Windham County Trail Association so that we can hopefully connect towns in the area via mountain biking trails and bike trails. And, we've certainly offered up that we'd work with them on providing access, wouldn't cost anything. They would just volunteer their time to work a trail in and things of that sort as well. So we look at the mountain as a kind of a local recreational resource. And that's how we approach it. And we hope to make enough money on skiing so that we can do all that. And so far, so good on that front. And weddings.
Yep.
We do. We did with the putting in the mid-mountain lift as well. We had our first wedding, 40 people up there this year. Obviously, they wanted to keep it small, and that's within the regulations and things of that sort. But it was 100% outside. We can do indoor, outdoor, but people took the mid-mountain lift up to Sunshine Corner. Just had an absolutely beautiful wedding up there, so there's other ways that people can use it and where we can make a little money too. And weddings is certainly one of them. So anyone have, daughters or sons or granddaughters or grandsons getting married, think Magic.
Well, that was a great program, Geoff. We really appreciate the update, what's going on. Down in my office when I was there, the old First Vermont Bank had commissioned 30 paintings. One of them was first, they're all about firsts in Vermont. And one of them is a picture of a ski area. And to this day, I can't tell if it's the skiers on Magic looking at Bromley or on Bromley looking at Magic, but it's a great painting.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And so anyhow, with that, we'll call the meeting to a close. And thanks again
everybody.
very much. And if you ever want to join us on meetings, Regina can keep you up to date. Thanks again.
Thank you.